Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am back after a long hiatus. I was on vacation with my family, but now we're back to our Tuesday, Thursday streaming schedule. Before we get started on the makeup, I want to welcome our gorgeous model. This is Catherine.
Thank you.
And we're so excited to have her. She's stunning. So I'm going to be doing a fall makeup look for you guys today, start to finish on Catherine, and we're going to talk about transitioning your makeup from summer to fall and just little tweaks I like to make. Catherine is naturally very beautiful. She has really nice thick lashes. She has good brows, pretty hair. So I mean, she doesn't need much makeup, but I want to do something a little bit more structured, slightly more bold than a natural look. So that's what we're going to do today. So I'm going to start by using my Hourglass Ghost palette. I really love this bronzer in here as a transition color for almost any look that I do, just to start to add, go ahead and close, some structure to the eyes. So typically, I would say most girls, women, anyone that wears makeup in the summer, we're usually out in the sun more, so we're more tan, more bronzy, skin is fresh, like it's hotter in the summer, so we might get more oily. So I think most people gravitate towards not wearing much makeup in the summer. Maybe you'll throw on some bronzer, some mascara, like a BB cream or something, but as we get into the winter, our skin starts to change. It gets a little bit drier. Maybe we're more fair, which is fine, but you just look a little more washed out. So usually for fall, people like to gravitate towards a little bit more color. Sometimes they'll start to wear more foundation, more skincare products and stuff like that. So that's kind of what we're going to be doing today. So I want to do some cream highlighting and contouring on Catherine today, just for fun. I haven't done that in a while, and I know you guys like that. And so whenever I plan on doing some contouring and a little bit more of a structured look on the complexion, I generally like to start with this particular bronzer or a bronzer on the eyes as my transition color. So I'll show it to you guys again. This is just the Hourglass palette. This palette, I believe it was limited edition, but I've still been linking it for you guys. It's still available. But if you can't find it in your country, or I'll check my link today when I link the products, you can buy these things individually. So Hourglass has a couple different bronzers and they're all good. But the reason I like to do that is because if I'm going to do a nose contour or more contouring on the face, I like this area to be structured as well. And when I use this bronzer, I can get a really natural shaping and sculpting to the eye, no matter what color I do. So that will be fun. And Catherine has a nice big eye space to work on. She doesn't have any hoodedness on her lids at all, so we can definitely play around with eyeshadow on her today. What's your typical, we didn't chat much about makeup when we were doing your skin prep. What's your typical go-to look?
I never wear eyeshadow.
You don't?
Is my thing. Yeah. I just do eyeliner and mascara. I have not mastered eyeshadow on myself.
Oh, today will be so fun then.
Yeah, I know. I'm actually super excited.
That's awesome. I'm excited
to
too.
learn how to do eyeshadow, because every time I try it, I'm just like, oh, that doesn't look right. So, I mean, I definitely love wearing makeup, but yeah, eyeshadow I've never been big on.
I feel like your lid shape is a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because like you have the type of eyes that you can do a winged liner, you can do a lot of different makeup looks that are trendy, but when you have a bigger, like pretty eye space, you see the shadow more. Like it's easier to make mistakes. Okay. Like on people that have hooded eyes, you kind of can't go wrong. You just slap on the shadow and it's gonna look good. So
yeah.
I'm so excited. I didn't know that. That'll be fun. But that being said, it's pretty simple. You'll have your very own video, Catherine. This will go live on YouTube, and you can, if you like it, you can watch it and then learn how to do your. But I also feel like complexion products and good mascara and brows is almost more popular now than shadows. I see a lot of people, they'll just do kind of like a light wash of bronzer or something on the eyes, and they'll really focus on like getting good lashes or good skin or something like that. I'm not seeing as many intense eye looks as, say, like 5 years ago or something. Go ahead and look forward. So what I'm doing, I am going to stick to this NARS palette today. So this is the NARS Skin Deep palette, and it's neutrals, but then it has a couple berry tones in it too. So for fall, I really love berry tones. I like rose colors, I like pinks. They're flattering across the board. They add a lot of life to the face. They're so pretty. And this palette is great because it has those neutral tones that I like, but there's a lot of pink and berry undertones. So this particular brown that I used on her today, to my eye, it appears to have very much so like sort of a rosy undertone, like a pinky brown, which I like, and it will be really pretty with Catherine's blue eyes. So the look I want to do today is going to be very wearable. So I'm not going to do a crazy color on the eye. This would be like a great everyday fall eye color. So when there's not much on my brush, I'm going to go ahead and go all over her lid. Add a little bit of smokiness. And you just want to make sure you get both eyes even. Do you do liner, Catherine, or just mascara? You do liner?
I do liner, yeah.
Jules, we got a comment saying, please speak up. Can you ask how everybody's hearing you?
Yes. Okay, so Kelly's telling me we just had a comment that the sound's a little bit quiet. Let us know. Oh, hi guys. I didn't even check the chat. Thank you. Hi Ashley. Hi Angelique. Hi Sharon. Hi Marilyn. Keep commenting on the sound. Kelly can turn it up if we need to. I'll try to project a little bit. I was turned a little bit. We also, we have our mic right here. It's like a big orb. So we try to put it right in the middle so you guys can hear me no matter where I'm turned. But Kelly can play with that. So keep commenting on the sound. Oh, Ashley, you're so sweet. She says she thinks she's watched every video I've ever posted. And I have a lot. I probably have hundreds. That's so sweet. Thank you. Okay. Watching from Trinidad. Wow, that's awesome. Okay, so keep commenting on the sound. There's a little bit of a lag in the chat, so if you guys comment now, we're going to see it in like 2 minutes. So I'll try to talk a little louder. I'll project. I'm soft-spoken, but I'll do my best. If not, I think Kelly can do some tweaking in the sound. Okay, so my main goal with this look is, like I said, to more add structure to her eye and just a little bit of life. I'm still using neutrals, but I'm choosing undertones that are going to be very flattering on her. And then we're going to do some color in the cheeks and the lips. So what I want to do, I want to try playing with this color in the palette. This is, they do have names. I think this one is Faster Pussycat. So this sort of like, it's like a red toned color. This one does have shimmer in it. So far we've done all matte, so I'm just going to use this as a topper. If I was to use this shadow by itself, sometimes shimmers just look a little too sheer for my liking, so I like to layer over a matte. It also tends to tone down the shimmer. As much as I love glitter and I love girly, I don't love super shiny shimmers lately. I love more subdued, sort of like a sheen. And your shimmer colors, when you're doing shimmer, they're going to have so much more fallout. Like you can already see she's getting some fallout here, which is totally fine, not a problem, because we're doing shadow first. But if you like to do your foundation first, just be aware. Just use less product. I'm going in with a good amount because it doesn't matter. I'm going to clean it up. So another tip for you guys with shimmer. So if you're using, this one's pretty shiny. The NARS shadows do give off a nice sheen if you want it to. But another tip for shimmers is they are going to appear very different depending on the brush that you use. So this is a fluffy brush, and this is just going to diffuse the color. It's going to look a little bit softer. It's going to give more of a low sheen and a low shine than if I was to use a flat brush. I'll hold them up right by Catherine so you guys can see. The camera focuses. So fluffy is what I'm using. This flat one, if you were to use this, go ahead and close for me and spread the shimmer on. It's going to be like 5 times more pigmented. It would look a lot more like it does in the pan, and it would have a lot more shimmer. But you can kind of see, actually go ahead and open for me again. See how much life that gave to her eyes. This is a very beautiful, very wearable red color, and red tones are super pretty for fall. And they can be a little bit scary because I think most of us don't think about putting on red eyeshadow. And it's more of a red brown. She's like, what are you doing to me?
No, I'm not at all.
She seems easygoing. You seem easygoing. Can do whatever. Okay. So, and also one more note on like how to get a shimmer to be more shiny. If you guys watch Instagram videos or YouTube videos when they swatch a new palette, you'll notice everybody dips their finger in it and then they rub it on their arm. If you do that, it's going to be so shiny. It's going to be so pigmented and exactly the color in the pan. And that's because the finger is going to add a lot of pressure. It's going to pick up a ton of product. And that's why it's not going to look the same if you use a fluffy brush. But if you want that sort of a look, use a brush that's like your finger. So like the flat one, or just use your finger. So sometimes if I want a high shine on the lid, I will just use my finger, and you're going to get the most shine and the most color payoff. Okay, so I'm just going to, I'm really liking the way that looks. I think I'm going to bring it in a little bit more. So one sort of area I like to keep an eye on, go ahead and close to me, is this tear duct area. Sometimes I like that area. Generally, I like it to be brighter. Just opens up the eyes and looks really pretty. But for this look, I want it to be a little bit more smoky, so I am going to apply some color in that area. Okay. So now we're going to do some liner, and then I'll go ahead and clean up the bottom. So we're going to do some tight lining, and then we will do some pencil liner probably. And I'm going to do brown. For fall, I love doing more shadows, so usually like on myself and on clients for photos and stuff like that, I'll do a little bit darker shadows than I would for a summer look, but I like to pair it oftentimes with a brown liner because it just sort of softens the look. It keeps it from being as harsh. It's very pretty. Okay, sound is good. Good. Let me know, actually, guys, did we start off with low sound, or is it just because I'm talking louder? It's helpful to know. Every day we kind of tweak our settings, so we're trying to get it really perfect. Oh, Maddie says, your model is so pretty, she doesn't even need makeup.
Oh my gosh, that's so nice.
I know, she is
Thank
very
you.
stunning. I have the sweetest commenters. Okay, and then she says, are you using powder or cream shadow? And then she said, it sounds good. Good. I'm glad the sound is better for you guys now. That's my most annoying thing to watch a video. If you can't hear it, it's the worst. So I always want my sound to be good. I'm using powdered shadows. So it's everything besides the bronzer is from this NARS palette. And I shut it. This palette is so hard to open with my nails. But everything's from this palette. I've been trying lately to, I might have to have, there we go. I was going to say, I might have to have Kelly open my palette for me. It's the only downside to this palette for me, just because of my nails. It's hard to open. But I have been trying to just use like all colors from one palette for you guys, because I know you guys like to check my links and to decide if you want a palette or not. Because as a makeup artist, generally what I would do is depot everything, and I would create my own palettes and just only use the colors I needed to condense things. But I know some of you are makeup artists, but for consumers, that's not what everyone wants to do. They like their pretty palettes and they travel better. This hard case on this one, even though it's so hard to open, these don't break. Like, this is what I take on vacation because the shadows will not shatter. So we're using that today. This is a gel liner though. This is a brown liner. So we're going to do some tight lining. Okay, so I am going to have you open, but then look down, and I'm just going to do some liner right under your lash line. Do you ever do this?
Mm-mm.
What kind of, you said you do liner every day. Do you do like a pencil? Or
no,
liquid?
I do it like, I think like you're doing it like a gel, but
Yeah.
it's like the Maybelline.
Oh, awesome.
So
What brush do you like to use?
the one it comes with.
Oh, nice. It comes with a good, I think I've used it before. The brush works
I
really
actually
good.
really like it, yeah.
Yeah, I do too. Go ahead and look down.
Okay.
It's kind of like a little pencil, like a little paintbrush, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it works really good though. I like it.
Yeah, they actually like changed the brush with the newer one, so I still stick with, because they like had it bend, which I like it just straight, so I like still use my old brush, but it still is in good shape,
Perfect.
so it works.
Sometimes the brushes things come with, like the Anastasia palettes, they always come with a brush, and it's like the best brush. Go ahead and look down. That's so funny. I don't love the bent ones either, like the liner brushes. Is that what you're talking about, where the tip is kind of bent?
Yeah.
Go ahead and look at the brush and follow it over there. Perfect.
Okay.
Just so you don't have to watch me come at your eyeball. They're supposed to be more ergonomic, the bent liner brushes, but they throw me off.
Yeah.
I like it to be straight. Okay. This is, go ahead and look down. I've had a lot of you guys ask for a detailed brush video, so I do plan on filming that soon. Go ahead and look here. Kelly and I live streamed one. We had a model cancel, and so we live streamed a brush tutorial, and I walked you guys through all of the brushes I use and why, just kind of like tips on what you would use for what area. But it was the only time our live stream had a lot of issues. Well, the second time. We get lucky. It's pretty intense. Go ahead and close the way we live stream. But yeah, it had a lot of glitches, and then when we uploaded it to YouTube, or YouTube automatically. So when you live stream on YouTube, once you finish, YouTube processes it, and then after 20 minutes to an hour, go ahead and close, it becomes a normal video on your channel for people to watch the replay. And when YouTube processed that brush video, it was so, like, the stream had such poor connection that it went from being like a half hour to 3 minutes. Like, it cut out, because YouTube tries to cut out any issues. So we deleted it. But I had a lot of people ask about it. They're like, wait, I wanted to watch it again. So it is coming. But I think I'm going to pre-record this one for you guys so that I can film really good close-up shots of the brushes and kind of explain. So if you guys have any brush questions, let me know now, and I will incorporate that into my script for that video. Because I think people just it's like, you'll buy, I don't know, there are two, when I do private makeup lessons with people, there are two types of makeup wearers. Go ahead and close. I see the type that come in and they literally have just like 3 brushes, which is totally fine, but they're not getting the makeup results they want, and so usually we need to fill in the gaps and get them. No one needs tons of brushes, but there are a couple key ones that help. Or there are the people that just will buy brush sets or like get brushes here and there because they'll see makeup artists on YouTube using them, but then it's like they don't really know what to use where, and so they'll have like massive amounts of brushes and it's so overwhelming and they still aren't getting the results they want. So I want to show you guys just kind of more the bones of like a brush collection, what is necessary. Okay, go ahead and look up for me. So we're going to tightening the bottom too. Do you do liner down here?
No. I do the eyeshadow underneath, but not liner.
It's a little more of a bold look. Because this is a brown liner, it's gonna look a lot softer. So I can go ahead and put it down here and it will be not too crazy. Okay, blink a couple times if you need to. You're doing great. That's always weird to have somebody do your tight lining. Look up for me again. Good. Like this gel is getting, I tend to throw away my gel pots, my gel liner, like before they're empty, because I just feel like over time they dry out a little bit. Have you noticed that? Do you do that too?
Oh, totally, yeah.
And it's not bad. It's not like it's dry.
Yeah. But it's kind of nice because it's kind of like, okay, they're giving me enough makeup. Like, some you're just like, really? This big pot for this tiny bit of makeup?
That's so true.
Like, at least they gave me more than I wanted.
Yeah, at least you're getting your money's worth. That is so true. That's so funny. There are some things like foundation, I feel like I'm like scraping the bottle, and I definitely, it doesn't go bad. But mascara and gel liner, I'll always throw it away before it expires or before it's gone. So I'm just going to clean up under the eyes. A tip though with gel products, it's kind of annoying for like at home, but it does help it, is to not stick your brush right in the pot, because it mixes with like the oils from your eyes and whatever, and it just makes the product dry out and go bad faster.
Okay.
So like I'll notice, because in my personal use makeup, like I noticed I was just drying out faster than the one I would keep in my makeup kit. Because when I do clients, there's no double dipping. Like I'll take my pot and I use a disposable spatula or a stainless steel one that I clean in barbicide, and you scoop it out and then you use that instead of sticking your brush in. So it lasts me a lot longer. The So I do that with my personal ones too. But it's one more step. It's like way faster just to like swirl your brush in.
Hey, Jules, are you done with the eyes?
Um,
Someone just asked if I could zoom up while you're doing detail work, so I figured if you're done, maybe you can at least explain what you did up close.
You can zoom in. If you guys ever want Kelly to zoom in, I'm glad you're telling her she can. So maybe zoom in right now and I'll just kind of explain what I did. And then we'll start to apply the lashes, but we'll zoom in for that. I'm just gonna curl. Go ahead and open for me.
Sorry.
Yeah, but look down. No, you're good. Do you curl your lashes?
I don't.
They're so long. Do you do lash serum?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. They're crazy long. Okay, does that pinch at all?
No.
Okay. You should start curling your lashes.
Okay.
It's like the biggest, like I would say for you, if you want to change what you're doing with your makeup, I've only met you today, so I don't know what you usually do, but even over learning eyeshadow, I would curl your lashes.
Okay.
Because they're so long. And it just like opens up the eyes. Like curling the lashes is magic. Like it makes the eyes look so bright and sparkly. Okay, we're gonna use like a fun do you ever wear lashes?
I mean, I've done it like twice.
Okay.
But yeah.
This will be fun.
That's so fun.
These are like a pretty good dramatic lash. I'm gonna hold them right by your face so you guys can see. So I think Kelly zoomed in for you guys, so let us know. So these are really fluffy. They're a foaming lash and they have a thicker band. So these are gonna be, I would say these are like a medium lash. So if you like, they're not like a natural day-to-day, but they're definitely not like, oh my gosh, she has like doll eyes. They're a very wearable, like medium thick lash, but they're gonna be fun. So I'm going to apply them with tweezers. We'll probably need to trim them. So as I apply them, I'll show you guys what I'm talking about the band being thick. Because I know a lot of people watching are like, oh, I don't wear lashes very much, but I want to. These wouldn't be a starter lash because these have a little bit of a thicker band. Is that eye? Is there a little bit harder for me to pull out because they're arranged to look beautiful and not to really make sense? Let's see. Okay, perfect. All right, so I'm gonna just measure this on Catherine, so go ahead and look down. And I'm probably for sure gonna cut off the end. Yeah, go ahead and open. So what I'll kind of do is I'll set the lash on and I'll just look, like, see how this tail is sort of hanging down a little bit and it makes the eye sort of droop down and we want everything to be lifted. So we're gonna cut off the end of it. But these are sewn in, these are multi-layered and they're sewn in, where are my scissors, to the band. And so the band is like thicker and black if you use a very natural lash like the Dimmy Wispies or the 747s. The band will be a lot skinnier, so if you're looking for a starter lash, those are the very best. Okay. And then we're gonna do a clear glue today. With this look, if you at home want to recreate it and you're totally comfortable putting on lashes, I would use a dark glue, actually, just to add a little more depth by the lash line. But I generally, on models or clients, I generally stick with the clear glue just in case their eyes water or they have blinky eyes. You're doing pretty good. You don't seem like fidgety when I come at your eyes.
I know, I'm like, when you like look up, I can tell I'm like lifting my whole head. I'm like, okay.
You're not too bad. Some people really do. I'm like, look down and they totally, like, they'll drop their whole face. It's like, oh.
I'm like, oh no, I just moved my whole head.
Yeah. No, you're totally not. It's funny what people do.
Yeah.
My sister, when I do her makeup and I come at her with the brush, she'll go cross-eyed. Like, she'll watch the brush come at her. It's
funny.
so funny. And I've done her makeup so many times. It's just like her natural thing. Okay, so we want to wait till the glue is clear and it starts to get tacky. Oh, hi, we have someone watching from India. That is so fun. You guys are the best. So I have no idea what time it is in India. Hopefully it's not like middle of the night. Okay, Melissa says, I love how the liner on the bottom looks, but I can't keep it from ending up on the inside corner of my eye, so I skipped that. And then she said it looks so beautiful on her. Okay. So it ends up on the inside corner of your eye. Yeah, for a lot of people it does. The liner will sort of end up right in there, if that's what you mean. I like the way that looks. I think it's pretty. I like it when the tear duct, like I'll usually brighten the outer area of the tear duct, but I like some shadowing on the inside, especially for pictures. It looks really pretty, but the way some eyes are shaped, if you get a lot of transfer, it sort of smudges in that tear duct area. Go ahead and look down, but don't close. Perfect. So some tips for that, if you want to prevent it, is just use like a really narrow, a very, very skinny brush on the inner tear duct, and don't go so much, don't tight line this tear duct area, don't come from underneath, come from above, and just tap on a really skinny line sort of right above the tear duct area, and that will keep it from transferring. But not everyone, you don't need the look of it. Tight lining is still beautiful even if you skip that whole area, so what you're doing is great, but if you want to try it. Okay, so we'll put on this lash. I really love these lashes. I was shopping on Amazon and they popped up as like recommended, and I'm like, oh, I'll try them, because I sort of zoomed in. I just look for ones that are really fluffy and very tapered. Like they'll look sort of like a zigzag at top. Those are a safe bet to always be more wearable. And these ones are really pretty. They remind
me.
Me.
Have a question of what brushes to use for small eyes.
Okay.
Angelique said if you have tips for brushes for small eyes, I would love to them. Oh, that's for the brush video. Never mind.
Oh, for the brush video. Okay.
Yes.
We got your question, Angelique. Well, I will answer that in the brush video for sure. That's a good suggestion. Okay, let's get this to dry. And then we're gonna do some cream contouring for you guys today. I haven't done that in a bit on my videos, so I'll show you what I like to do. Dry. Oh good, Angelique likes the zoom. Yeah, and you guys are saying you like the zoom when we do the eyes. Always, if you guys are in the live chat, this video is for you. So whatever suggestions you have, that's why we have producer Kelly. She's amazing. She can zoom for you guys. You can ask her. If I miss your question, she'll ask me and we can zoom in on products, whatever you guys want. So look down again, but don't close. Perfect. I agree. When I see eyes being done on videos, it's like night and day difference. To see it zoomed in, it helps out a lot. Okay, looking good. So we'll come back. I'm going to add mascara and we're going to do a little bit more under the eyes. But that eye look, why we're zoomed in, let me walk you through really quick what we did, because it's so simple. So we started off with the Hourglass palette because I know I'm going to be using a bronzer on her face. So we took this bronzer and we went and go into her high crease, and then I brought it into this area as well. And then we went into the NARS Skin Deep palette, and we only used 2 colors. So we used this brown, this sort of like...
They can't see it with the zoom, Jules.
Oh.
Show the main camera first.
Okay, so sorry you guys, that was too zoomed. Okay, so in the NARS palette, we only used 2 colors, which I love eye looks that are very simple like that. So we just did this brown on top, the one that's more pink, basically all over. I sculpted out her crease with that and got it really dark, and then I just took my fluffy brush and I put it all over on her lid. And then we took this red color, this red shimmer, and we topped it. So we topped everything. So we did the same placement for both of those. Okay, so now we're gonna go on to Complexion. Oh, and then we did a brown gel liner. I said I was going to use a pencil, but I changed my mind and I just did the brown gel liner everywhere. So pretty simple look, honestly. Okay, move my lashes. And we'll do NARS again today. This one is the shade Vienna. Vienna is the magical shade for like fair, medium skin tones. It just has really, really, really great undertones. It's slightly gold, so it's going to cancel out any redness, but it's not so gold where it will look orange. So it's so crazy how many people this color matches. But I also like to use it as a base. So if I have a very fair client or model, I'll use Vienna as my base, and then I'll mix in like a pink adapter or like a lighter shade or whatever I need. And Catherine has great skin. You really don't need a lot of coverage. Do you wear foundation?
Yes.
What foundation do you like?
I use Rimmel London. Just.
Which one? Is it a liquid?
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that's good. I feel like I would hear people talk about that when they
Yeah.
would talk about drugstore ones. Is it more of like a medium coverage or is it more full coverage?
I would say more full coverage.
Yeah, this is working really well. I think I'm only going to need one layer. Sometimes with this foundation, I like to layer it in different areas, but this one coat is looking super great. I'm going to turn you slightly towards me, yeah, so the camera can see. We don't have really much to cover. I'm just kind of evening some things out. There's just some couple tiny little things I want coverage. But generally, I get the coverage that I want with foundation. I actually don't use concealer too often, depending on what the makeup is for. Especially with freckles and stuff like that. Most people like those to show through, and I do too, unless people specifically ask for coverage. And I always like to go below the jawline. You're actually pretty even, but generally people's face is so different than their neck, and then so different than their chest, and so different from their arms. You're actually one of the most like balanced people that I've done.
Probably because my face does not tan.
Does it not tan?
Yeah, it doesn't tan. Like my whole body tans, but my face will not tan.
Oh, so funny.
It's kind of sad.
That is so funny. It's funny how that is different places on the body.
Yeah.
But do you wear foundation every day, like when you are out in the sun and stuff like that?
Yes, I do.
I feel like foundation, even if it doesn't have SPF, it's still a little bit of a barrier.
Yeah.
I feel like it keeps the face from
Yeah.
getting tan, which is good. Okay, all right, let's do under eyes. I am going to conceal. I'm going to do a little bit of a peach corrector just in these two areas, and then I'm going to top it with, we might do Tarte Shape Tape. She has a really good under eye area. Shape Tape is fun when I do cream contour because you can really do a nice cream highlight with the Shape Tape, but sometimes it adds a little more texture than is my preference, so I'll mix it with the NARS, or I'll use the NARS, but we'll see what I do today. So this is the Makeup Forever concealer palette, but it's a corrector palette, so it has a green, a red, and a peach, and it's for more fair and medium skin tones. But for me, it's actually worked across the board because I'll show you guys. The red is fairly deep, like the burgundy.
It had a glare, Jules.
Oh, it had a glare. Let me open it. Thanks, Holly. So I'll open that up for you. So this, the burgundy color is fairly dark, so that will work on deeper skin tones for me for correcting. Okay, so this peach color is just going to correct anything. So if you have like dark circles, or most people have a little bit of blue under their eyes, and it's just from different things. Sometimes it's just because the skin is thinner, so it's like you see the little veins or the natural coloring. But this peach color is really good, like a peach or a salmon or an orange is going to be really good if you're correcting blue. And this is like a heavier cream, it's a thicker cream, so I'm not using much. And then I'm just using that flat brush. So this is an eyeshadow brush. This is the brush I was saying works really good on shimmer. It works really good with spot concealing too. Okay. And people are saying your skin is gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
She does have very nice skins. Okay, and Angelique likes seeing the lashes close up. Good. I think so too. You guys can always remind us if you want us to zoom, especially at the beginning. Oh, and Cynthia says you have very pretty eyes.
Oh, sweet. Thank you.
You guys are so sweet. It's very true. Okay, and then how much should I trim off the lash? Like 2 centimeters. Like if you count the little clumps, like the little clusters in the lash, I usually trim off 2 little clusters is what's kind of like a generic trimming for most people. Okay, let's do let's do some Tarte Shape Tape. I'm going to mix a couple colors. And then I think I am going to mix, just to get the tone I want, I think I'm going to mix some of my NARS Creamy Radiance Concealer too, because I'm out of my lightest shade in the Shape Tape. Okay, so I'm just going to mix a couple things, and then we'll see how that looks. Perfect. Okay, so I basically, my goal when I'm highlighting, I generally like 2 shades lighter, 2 full shades lighter with my concealer. So I'm gonna highlight around the edges of the mouth. We're gonna do the chin a little bit. I don't need to do too much on the forehead. And then I'm gonna do under the eyes. Need a little bit more. If I'm not doing a cream contour, I just like half a shade to 1 shade lighter of concealer, because I feel like it's a little bit more obvious. But when we're playing with so many tones, you can get away with more. You're gonna be so glam, Catherine, for so your excited. Tuesday. Doing anything fun?
I don't know. I gotta go somewhere now.
Yeah, now you're so fancy.
I know.
Find somewhere to go here.
I know. My girls will be like so excited to see me when I get home. They were like so excited.
Oh, so cute.
They're like, "Where do I watch it, Mom?" I'm like, "You're in school."
That is too cute. Okay, I love the way that's looking. I'm gonna let that set. So something I like to do, if I am doing a more natural look, I will keep buffing my concealer and then immediately set it. If I want a little bit more contrast, shaping, structure, I'm gonna blend it about 2/3 of the way, and I'm gonna let it sit, and then I'm gonna finish blending it out and set it, and that's gonna make it a little bit brighter and a little bit more dramatic. But one thing that I like to do that works really well for me is when I highlight and contour with creams, I like to do a foundation that's a shade or 2 darker than my initial shade. So I label everything. I love my label maker, but this was the shade I used for her. And this one's probably 2 shades darker. This is Patagonia. So I'm gonna do this shade on her forehead and maybe bring it down here a little bit. And that is just a good way to lay down a foundation for your cream contour and help it look more natural. The key to getting like a good blend is just doing layers. You can do a pretty dramatic highlight and cream contour. I'm just gonna lift your hair out of the way with makeup, and it can still look nice and not look as harsh if you do your layers. So laying down this layer of foundation is gonna be helpful. Going to bring it down a little bit past halfway of the forehead actually, and then I'm going to switch brushes to, this is just the same brush but a clean one, and I'm just going to buff it out sort of into the hairline. With blondes you have to be careful, you don't want to paint into the hair, but also like when the skin is a little more fair than the foundation you're doing, if you don't go up into the hairline, you're gonna see like white scalp, because none of our scalps are tan, because the sun is not gonna show through your hair generally. So there's just like a big difference between like a contour and then your scalp color. So you actually do want to sort of buff it up into there. You just want to be careful of the hair color. Our little brunettes watching will have it much easier. You can just go right into your hair and it's totally fine. Okay, we're gonna go back in with that concealer brush, and I'm just lightly gonna kind of buff it out. It's actually settled in quite nicely. It doesn't really need much more buffing before we set it. Okay, that's looking super good. I am gonna go in with some cream contours color. For cream contour, let's see. Let's try this one today. This one might not be dark enough. This is the Huda Beauty. This is the Tantor in the shade Fair. We will see if it's going to be enough pigment. But I really like this one. It's really creamy. Okay, so what I like to do is take, yet again, another foundation brush, but this one is just a little bit smaller, and I'm just going to dip it right into this cream color. I like to use little, I think this is a jewelry dish. It has like little lashes on it. It's cute, but I like to squirt all my foundation on here, all my concealer. It keeps it sanitary, but then it also helps me mix. Like I have a little palette, and I can go back into my foundation color if I want to, or my concealer or whatever. So I really like having the little palette. This is pretty. This is going to be a very wearable shade because it's not too dark, this Tantor color. So I like to go right, basically, if you go from the top of the ear essentially down to the corner of the eye, that's generally a good mapping for most face shapes. So we're going to do that, and we're going to blend as we go. And this is very, very creamy, this Tantor product. So I had a little bit more on my brush that time. So what I'm going to do is take some of it up here and work it into the hairline. And you can use an angled brush. I generally like kabuki brushes because they do a really good job of buffing it. And then I can do all the work with my brush, and I don't need a beauty blender. And I like to start on the sides of the forehead rather than in the middle and sort of work my way up. And again, I am buffing it into her hairline a little bit. And cream contour is honestly easy peasy. It's easier to get a good blend with cream contour than it is with a bronzer or a powder. And most people tend to gravitate towards a powder when they want to contour because it's easier in the sense that it's faster because you're not doing all that buffing work. But the cream is going to look very natural. You're going to have a perfect gradient from light to dark, where with powder you can still achieve that. You just have to do a lot more layers. With the cream contour, it's, I would say, easier. Okay, so we're going to go back in and keep buffing that. So my motions with the brush is I'm doing kind of little swirls, but they're like little padding swirls. I want to do, got little lash hair hanging out. I want to do more pressing motions, so I'll swirl slightly just to buff it, but it's more of a pressing motion because we've already established her foundation. And when you're working with creams and liquids, they're very movable, and if I was to go in with really big like swiping motions, it's gonna lift all of those layers that I've put on, and I don't want that. I want them to stay in place. I don't want to disrupt her foundation underneath this contour, if that makes sense. And she has a great jaw. I'm just going to do a little bit of jaw contouring because why not? We're already doing the creams. So generally, I just like to do like an enhancing contour. If you want to do a lot of corrective work, I mean, obviously she doesn't need it, most people don't, but you can. This is when I would want to use a cream contour. And I do have videos on some stuff like that. I had a model, she was coming to get her makeup done for the channel, and she's like, hey, I feel like I have a double chin. Can we actually do a video on contouring that? And I was like, oh yeah, that'd be awesome. So I have a video on stuff like that if you guys want something a little more detailed, but generally this sort of structure is going to look good on everybody. And I'm going to do a nose contour for you guys because that is so fun. I like the way that looks. So for nose contour, I really like this Luxie brush. This is a dual-ended brush, so it has a fluffy side and it has a more of a structured tip on the other side. So what I like to do is just go into my cream contour that I've already depotted. And I'm just going to tilt her towards me. If it's hard for you guys to see, let me know. And I'm just going to draw lines. It's like little runway tracks down the side of the nose, and then I'm going to blend it. The best tip for nose contour is just to come in straight on, and then just keep your brush straight. Don't come in at an angle. I mean, I guess I have it sort of tilted, but I'm keeping it in the I'm not like flipping around like that. Like whatever angle you come in at, stay that way, if that makes sense. And the more narrow you go, the more close together these lines are, the more narrow the bridge of the nose is going to look. But also a little bit more artificial the more narrow you go. So for like a day nose contour, I don't go too close together, but obviously you don't want to go really far apart because you don't want to create a wide nose. I'm going to tilt her sort of forward. So it's straight down. Sometimes I'll cut off the tip just so the nose doesn't go too long. And then I always swoop it up into the eyebrows. So this is where we did that bronzer color earlier. I knew I would do a nose contour, so I brought in that bronzer actually down into there. My family and I, we went to Turkey for the last couple weeks. And we got back 2 nights ago. And that whenever we go on trips, I'm never like jet lagged. Like my sleep is totally fine, but I feel so weird. Like the last 2 nights, I wake up in the middle of the night and I just can't. Like I'm wide awake. I'm like, I'll like clean or I'll shower or take a bath or like do something. And I feel like it's hitting me right now. I'm like feeling weird.
Oh, I get the worst jet lag because I cannot sleep on planes for some reason. Yeah, like red eyes. Oh my gosh. I'm like out the whole next day.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that'd be horrible to do a red eye and not be able to sleep.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. We did a red eye on the way there on accident. Our plane was like kind of broken. Okay. So it took us like 7 hours before we could leave LA and stuff like that. But it ended up being awesome because it was a red eye and we have our little 1-year-old. And so she just like slept the whole flight.
Oh yeah, that is awesome.
And we slept and no one was on our flight. It was delayed so long that everybody was like, had to reschedule because we all missed our connecting flights. And so we're like, perfect. We're like the only ones on this flight. So we all had our own like bench to lay on.
Awesome.
It was good. But it's hard to sleep on planes. We just like lay down. We really did take our own row and just like lay down like everybody was.
Amazing. I could probably sleep on my own row, but every red eye I've been on has been like fully booked.
They're so uncomfortable.
Turkey, that's fun though.
Yeah, it was way fun.
That's awesome.
It was so fun. It's not, I feel like it's like half a day ahead of us. So it's kind of like a weird time difference. And we never sleep very much on vacation. We do so many things and we're like so excited, like the vacation adrenaline, that we only were sleeping like 4 or 5 hours a night. And so now we get back and my body's like, oh, you just slept 5 hours. Like we are so well rested. Okay, I'm going to go in. So what I just did, Laura Mercier translucent powder, I have it depotted into a smaller container so the one you buy doesn't look like this, but this is Laura Mercier. Her translucent powder is one of my favorites. It just does a good job controlling oil but also working with more dry skin. And we kind of talked before we started and you said you feel more oily but then you feel dry because you don't use like moisturizer and stuff like that. So this is a great powder for skin like that. So it will control oil but also not look cakey. So I set all the highlighting areas. And now I'm going to go in with the Hoola bronzer. I love this bronzer. They just came out with this giant one, and I think it's limited edition, but they keep restocking it. So I think it was very popular, and they're going to keep that giant one. I love it. So, and this is a great universal shade. They have a lighter one for very fair skin, and then they have a deeper one for darker skin. But this, the classic Hoola bronzer really works well for the majority of those middle tone skin tones. So I'm just pressing it onto the contour. So I'm setting my contour. I set it lightly with the translucent powder. I focused more on the highlighting areas, but I did lightly set this just so the contour didn't look patchy, but then I'm also going to go in with this. Oh, hear my little baby.
Oh, cute.
Okay. And so what I do for the nose is I flip the brush around to the fluffy side and I just go ahead and buff it in by doing little pressing motions. You don't want to mess it up. If we were doing a photo shoot and Catherine wanted like just to be snatched, she's like, I want to look like a Kardashian, I would further contour the nose. I would take my bronzer and I would top my contour there, but generally for like a natural nose contour, I like to use the cream and then I'll just set it with translucent powder and let that be that, because then you have some structure and some focus in the middle of the face, but it's not as apparent in real life. So that's what we're going to do. So now we're going to go into the Hourglass palette, and like I said, this is the Ghost palette. If it is still available, and I do linking with this video, I will link this for you, but you can buy these individual little bronzers and shadows. So this is the bronzer right now that we used on her eyes, the very first step, and I like it because it has like a bit of a sheen. And then I'm going to go ahead and take a fluffy brush and we're going to go into these highlighting shades. I'm just going to do a lot of highlighting. The Hourglass highlighters are my absolute favorite. They just work for all skin types because they just give a natural illumination. There's definitely not glitter in them, and I wouldn't even call it like a shimmer, or definitely not a metallic. It really is just like a sheen. They just have like very, very, very micro milled light reflecting particles in them, and it just does a really great job. And then when I contour the nose, I like to highlight the nose, and the Hourglass highlight is really great because it's super natural. And then I like to highlight the inner corner of the eyes. We'll do some blush and then I'll do a little bit more highlighting. So what I want to do is I want to use these very rosy toned blushes from this palette, because I definitely want to add a lot of life to the cheeks. For the fall, when people tend to gravitate away from bronzers and stuff like that in their makeup, it is very flattering to put life back into the face, and I love, 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 love blush for fall and winter. I love it year round, but especially for fall and winter. And these blushes are so great. Like, look how stunning that is. I'm going to turn her kind of to the side. You can sort of see how reflective that is. I don't know how it's pulling off in camera, but in real life, it's just beautiful. It looks like she's glowing from within, even though they're powders. I'm going to turn you this way. It doesn't have that heavy, powdery appearance that I don't love. I've pretty much transitioned away from traditional powder blushes. I still have a couple of the shades that I love in my kit, and occasionally I'll use them, but I pretty much exclusively use a cream blush or this Hourglass illuminating powder, because I just think it looks so much lighter, so much fresher. It gives such a better glow to the skin. Okay, I'm going to use, this is the Dior Backstage Glow Palette. So this, oh, I have must have touched liner in my hand from my spatula. So the Dior Backstage Palette, they have a couple different ones. This is Universal #1. So this is a cool product. The Dior, it's one of Sephora's best sellers. It's really popular. Everyone's been really liking it. But it reminds me a lot of the Hourglass palette that I love. It's just like the metallic sister of it. It's like the more glam, like partier, and this is like the more demure, like classic palette. But they're similar. They each have a bronzer, they have a blush, and then they have 2 highlighting powders. So I really like to use this as a topper for my Hourglass highlight if I want a little bit more glow. So it just adds a little bit more of a sheen. I might do a little bit of this. I like to highlight the nose. If I do a contour, you can get kind of bold with your highlight and it's very pretty. I think I'll kind of mix the gold and the white a little. Okay, and then I love highlighting the inner corner of the eye. I'm gonna have you look forward. If that is uncomfortable, you can close. Even though we did sort of more smoky eye and we did some tight lining on her inner eye, I really love having a highlight there. Okay, let's add some mascara and then we'll do the lips. So we did, you know what, let's try a brown mascara. I think that will be fun. We did a brown liner, so we'll do a brown mascara. It's like the tiniest writing. That's so funny. Okay, this one's my brown. It's a dark brown, but it'll be fun to try with that liner. Oh yeah, you guys like that. People are still saying they like the close-up on the eyes. I'm so glad. Okay, and Angelique says you sometimes use the Dior highlighter too. Does that depend on skin type or when do you use which? Oh, she says I use both. Yeah. The Dior is shinier. So for a more natural look, I would stick to the Hourglass, or if somebody has a lot of texture on their skin that they don't want enhanced at all, then I would just use the Hourglass. I love the Dior though, it's so pretty. They pair so well together for me. I really, go ahead and look up. I love the combo of the two. So when I did her eyeshadow, I didn't directly apply any eyeshadow to underneath her eyes, but we did have a good amount of fallout with the shimmer shade. And because I did eyes first, there was just a lot of transfer underneath, which I love. So sometimes that will happen a lot with me. I directly on purpose will have fallout and I'll kind of press the shadow so that it migrates under the eyes and then I clean it up. Keep looking, actually look down for me, good. And then I clean it up, but I leave some of the shadow underneath the eyes and it gives like the most perfect diffused bottom shadow. And that might be enough for me. Go ahead and look forward. Yeah, I actually really like that. It's funny, it's that color I used was like a burgundy, like it's a red shimmer on top, and it transferred under her eyes, and a lot of times with red, it can enhance veins in your eyes and just not really be flattering on the eyes, but when you have just like such minimal fallout and just a little bit of a sheen under the eyes, and you do the tight lining, it's very pretty and it's actually very flattering. So I like the way it looks. We're gonna do lips now. I think I'm gonna skip lining them and just do lipstick, and I think I'm gonna do Cosmo by MAC. I think that is what we will do. We will see what that looks like. Cosmo is really pretty. It's pink, like a muted pink. I really like, for my muted pinks, I love Cosmo, Twig, and Velvet Teddy. Those are like my go-to lip colors that are like mimic sort of the natural coloring of the lips. Cosmo is just a little bit more warm, which I think will pair really beautiful with the color. I'll kind of hold it up by her eyes. The sort of red pink looks really good with the eyeshadow we did, and then the blush. And I like to use a lip brush and just sculpt out my lips. You can obviously just do it directly from the tube if you want. I'm kind of going to turn your face towards me. Perfect. If you guys want a zoom in on the lips, let Kelly know.
I'm already doing it.
Oh, she's already doing it. Kelly's on the ball. Gold star for producer Kelly. She's the best. Lips, though, I mean, they're just pretty basic. You can do lips however you want. Yes and no. I'm picky about my lips. I feel like lips are usually the things when we end our live and I take my after photo, I'll stand directly in front of them, which I can't do on camera, and then I'll just, sometimes I'll touch things up, but usually I don't need to, but sometimes I will clean up the lips a little bit. Open a little bit more for me. I like to get perfect in these corners. Okay, you can go ahead and relax how you were before. Perfect. But this Cosmo, this shade is really, really beautiful. It's like the perfect pink. So if you guys have any questions about what we did today or just makeup in general, now is such a great time to ask them. Because Catherine cannot talk because I'm doing her lips, and there's only so much to be said about lips for me to tell you guys. So if you have any questions, drop them now. Also, if you have any requests, so now that I'm back from vacation and stuff, and we're back to our usual streaming schedule, we will be going live every Tuesday and Thursday, and we start around 10 a.m. Pacific time. Sometimes we start a little bit earlier, maybe it'll be like closer to 9:30, just depending, but we generally do it around then. And if you guys are live, we love it. Your comments are the sweetest, and I love all your questions. If you miss it, that's always uploaded as the replay. And the live chat, if you watch the replay, I don't know if you can comment in the live chat, probably not because it's not live anymore, but it is there for you to view if you ever watch it and like want to see what people are saying and stuff. But okay, go ahead and look forward. Oh, I love this color so much on you. These tones are so pretty. Okay. I'm just going to clean up around the lips with a little bit of concealer. That's another reason on models or clients I really like to have my like dish or artist palette for all the concealers and stuff that I use, because then you can re-dip into those colors if you need it. I feel like our makeup on camera usually shows up pretty true to color, but the lips always look a little bit lighter to me for some reason. Okay, but I love the way that's looking. I think I'm going to do a little bit of gloss because I love gloss. Let's do, this is Blushing Margarita by Buxom. This is the perfect fall pink. I love it so much. It's a very it's just a little bit more rosy, but it's a very similar shade to her lipstick color. All right. You look so pretty. Are you ready to see?
I'm so ready.
Yay!
Yes.
Okay, I'm excited to show you.
Okay.
I love your hair so much.
Oh,
we have
thank
to
you.
put it in front. So Kelly filmed a before video of Catherine. So we'll flash that right now for you guys before I show Catherine her makeup. So we did the before video before I did the brows. I did start today's live with skin prep done, eyes primed, and brows completed. So this before video, I think it was mid skin prep. Kelly took it. So we had exfoliated her and done a toner, but I don't think we'd hydrated yet. So that was her lovely before. And then here is the little mirror so you can see.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
So pretty.
Oh my gosh, you're amazing.
Oh, you're so sweet.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh.
You're stunning. You made my job so easy.
Thank you.
Do you like eyeshadow?
Wow, I love the eyeshadow.
It's pretty. And honestly,
So
like,
pretty.
it was super easy. I did a lot of explaining, obviously, so it was like quite slow, but it was only 2 colors.
Oh
It's
my
very
gosh.
easy. Very easy
so
to replicate.
Pretty. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for modeling and lending us
Yeah.
your beautiful face. You were so great.
Oh, thank you.
Yay! Okay, and thank you guys for watching. We love you guys in the live chat so much, and we appreciate you guys who watch the replay. We'll be live in 2 days again on Thursday, so come hang out with us, 10 a.m. See you guys.